Today I'm going to be speaking about some of the cocktail bars in Glasgow and doing a kind of New Year's vlog. Originally I filmed a New Year vlog but it recorded without sound, so here we are. I decided to celebrate New Year in Glasgow, but not for Hogmanay or the Bells because I can't stand going out when it's busy. And also, I don't really like New Year that much. So this year on Hogmanay I didn't do anything. I stayed in the house. I don't really like Hogmanay. I literally just sat in and played Disney Dreamlight Valley. On New Year's Day, I went to my friend's house, as I always do. She's a chef, and for my starter, she gave me prawn cocktail and patty, and for the main meal, she gave me steak pie.
I'm just editing this video and I've realised that I'm about to show you my steak pie on the plate, and I have to say this because if I don't she will literally punch me in the face. She gave me my steak pie on the plate, and then over at the side she's got like a thing, you know how like to keep food hot, and you can have mashed potatoes, vegetables, pigs in blankets and all that. So I put that stuff on the plate myself. As she'll always say, she likes to plate things up nice, right? So if I show you a video of the food that I've got on my plate and she thinks for 1 second that people think that she put that on that plate, she'll not be happy. So just to let you know it was me that put it on the plate like that, okay? Then my life is safe.
It's not important to some people, but I am still not over this, okay? We're halfway through January and I'm still not over it. When she was making the steak pies, she brought out these like toppers and it was like puff pastry that are oval and she was cooking them separately. Now, if you watch my videos, you know that when I have a steak pie, it has to be a pie, okay? I'm not really that bothered about the side and the bottom, but the top has to be cooked on the steak. It drives me insane, right? So when she was cooking it, and I was like, oh my god, what is that? And she says it's pie toppers. And I was like, I feel like I'm being scammed here, okay? She says that that's what restaurant she is. And I was like, no, no, I feel like I'm being scammed. So obviously she knows me well and she already had a dish so that she could make me my steak pie because I'm just an extra bitch like that. But anyway, it ended up being amazing. And then for dessert, she had made a peanut butter cheesecake, which I didn't have because I don't like peanut butter and also I wasn't hungry. At that point, I was so full I couldn't even move. So a few days later, I decided to go into Glasgow to celebrate New Year and I chose to go out on a Wednesday night. So when I was younger and I was a student, I always went out on Wednesdays and Thursdays. It was the best time ever. Not too busy, and most of the time the drinks were cheap. But I don't really think they're allowed happy hours anymore. Like they used to do £1 a drink, okay, back in the day when life was better. So me and my friend went into Glasgow, and my friend doesn't really have a lot of experience going out in Glasgow, so I thought I would take them to a few different places to see how they like it. Now our favourite place to go is normally Revolution, but I had the bright idea that we would go in and we would try all these different places and I would make a vlog. So I'm going to be showing you some pictures of inside the bars that we went to, but I'll be getting most of those pictures from their website. Any pictures of drinks is ones that I took myself. It's just I don't really like to go out and be totally obnoxious and just film everything all the time because it's a bit weird. So I went into Glasgow and the first place that we went to was the Alchemist. So a few months ago I went to see the Backstreet Boys in Manchester and I had seen the Alchemist online and I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing, it looks fancy and the cocktails look so good. And then I just found out that there's an Alchemist in Glasgow now, so I was like, right, okay, let's go to the Alchemist. So obviously this place wasn't cheap, right? I didn't go out for a cheap night. I went out to spend some money, and I've got a picture of the menu. Now, considering the cocktails were really fancy, right? So you're talking like £10 a cocktail minimum, and I wasn't really bothered by this, right? But we had went out and we were looking through the menu, and even though it was quite an extensive menu, I must admit that I didn't really fancy a lot of the ingredients that was in the cocktails. I wish that they'd have had a more kind of basic section, but just made the cocktails look fancier. So me and my friend ordered a drink each, and theirs was like I think it was a Red Dead Zombie, and then if I can remember the names of the cocktails, I'll actually put them under here. But basically, theirs was like in a big glass, and it had mica in it, and then it came with a syringe that had absinthe in it. Now my friend hates absinthe, and so do I. But I was not about to let it go to waste, so I drank it anyway, and I was like hitting the bulk, right? And then the one that I got was also red, and they put mica in it. Now, this putting mica in a drink is a yes from me, right? If you put mica in a drink, I'm impressed. I was sitting there just staring at for ages because it looked like a magic potion. Now, even though none of these cocktails tasted good, I was still loving it because it had the my kit in it. Everybody should just do that, just for the sake of it, just for the sake of making it a bit fancy. So the problem with the Alchemist is that when you look it up on Google Maps, first of all, it doesn't really show you where it is, and it's quite hard to find. Now, it's not hard to find if you just walk straight down the street and look at the sign, but where it shows you on Google Maps, it's quite difficult to figure out where it is, and that's not their fault, right? So we went in, and the place was basically pitch black, right? You can hardly see a thing. And when you actually look around and you look at the decor, it looks really fancy. The floors are lovely, the walls are lovely when you actually sit and look around. But it's just so dark that you can't even appreciate it. The staff were really nice. The person who welcomed us at the door was really nice. The guy behind the bar couldn't have been any more helpful. He was telling me about normally you put the syringe in the drink, but if you don't like it, just take it as a shot or whatever, so that we didn't like destroy our drinks. So there was nothing wrong with the staff, but it was just so dark. The music was awful. I know that people like to go out places and listen to contemporary music or whatever. It wasn't even songs, from what I can remember. Now I wasn't drunk, right? I hadn't even drunk yet. From what I can remember, it was just like tunes. It wasn't even songs or anything that you can dance to. But that didn't stop two drunk people from getting up and dancing anyway, right? So we were sitting there, and I was really impressed by the menu design. I was impressed by how the place was actually designed and the staff, but it was just so dark. They had one tiny little light that was like a ball, and you couldn't see anything. And I kind of thought, see if they had tabletops that lit up, you'd be able to see the drinks better if you were stirring them, or even if they had like circles, like coasters on the tables with lights, and it would just make it look more magical. You'd maybe be able to see a bit better. So my friend absolutely hated this place, right? They were like, it's too pretentious, I don't like it, let's go somewhere else. So we ended up going to, hold on, I've got a list of where we went in order. So we ended up going to NYC Bar and Grill, which is on Hope Street. Never heard of it before. We were just looking up random cocktail bars because I wanted to drink cocktails all night. So we ended up getting a taxi up to Hope Street, even though we could have walked, but I thought that it was further away than it was. So we got a taxi up and we went in. Place was dead, right? It was kind of like an American, like the way you would imagine like an American place that you go out for burgers and stuff, but not an American diner. Tables were all wood, and it looked quite nice, right? But the place was dead. So my friend was like, "Oh, maybe it's crap in here because there's nobody in here." And I was like, "We'll just go in anyway. We can give it a try, see what happens." So we went in, and at the time there was a deal on, and it was two dogs or two burgers and two drinks for the price of one. So we decided to have something to eat. So we ended up getting four drinks, and they were excellent, right? They were really excellent. And then I got a hot dog. Oh my god, I got a hot dog, right? And it was like a hot dog with bacon wrapped around it with mac and cheese on top. And then I can't remember what kind of hot dog they got, but it was so good, right? It was like, you know how one of the proper hot dogs that you bite into and it like it snaps. It's not soggy. It's not crispy. It's just the perfect consistency. The mac and cheese wasn't too cheesy. It was a 10. Right, this hot dog was a 10. Even my friend who ordered a hot dog, who doesn't even normally like hot dogs, so I was a bit surprised. Loved their hot dog. So we got four cocktails. They got one in like a skull glass. Really liked it, and then they got one in like a metal glass that was quite fruity, and they absolutely loved that cocktail, right? So my cocktails, I can't even remember what I got, but obviously you can see I've got pictures here, and they were really refreshing. Like I don't have any complaints. The guy who was working there could not have been any nicer. He was up, can I help you? Do you need any food? Like not too much, right? He was just coming up and just being really nice, bringing us our drinks to the table and everything. We didn't even have to go up to the bar to order. So in the end, we got four cocktails and two hot dogs, like really good sized hot dogs, and it was like £44, which I thought was an absolute bargain, right? So we decided to go somewhere else, and then we went to the Slug and Lettuce. Now people are always telling me go to the Slug and Lettuce, it's amazing, blah blah blah. So I was like really looking forward to this. So we went in, and it seemed as if it was dead, but it's as if they've got two rooms. So the room that we were in had nobody, and then the room, like in the back, it sounded as if there was people in there. So by the time we had decided what drinks we wanted, there was 3 people at the bar. So I went up to get served, and it took them so long. It must have been at least 20 minutes to serve these 3 people. But it wasn't just 3 drinks. Like one person was getting like maybe 10 drinks, another person was getting a lot of drinks for a group, like a group of people at the table. So there was only 2 staff on, right? So I waited over 20 minutes to get served, and we just got 1 drink each. And we got the same drink because it was like buy 2 drinks the same and pay for one, which isn't great because we have completely different taste in alcohol, right? But we were just trying to save some money for whatever reason. So I ended up getting the drinks, right, and took them back to the table, and they were not nice, and it was supposed to come with tinsel. Like, I know that this doesn't really matter, right, but it was some sort of Christmas cocktail, and it was supposed to come with a tinsel scrunchie, which it didn't. And it was after Christmas anyway, but it was just something that was missing from the drink. The drink was so bad. I didn't drink mine, and my friend drank mine as well, because I'm not one of the people who's just going to force it down if I don't like it. The atmosphere in the place, it just wasn't good. It wasn't because it was empty, because I love going out when it's empty, but the decor and everything, it just wasn't for me. However, at least you could see what you were doing. The place was well lit and everything, so at least that was a bonus. So we decided to leave there and go to a place called, I think it's Missoula. Right, excuse me if I'm saying that wrong, I can't actually remember. So we went to this place called Missoula, and I'm sure it was literally just down the hill from it. So when we went in, I opened up the menu and I realised it's the same company as the Slug and Lettuce, because it was like the same kind of menu. It was the same drinks, and it was also buy 2 drinks the same and get only pay for one. So I was like, right, it's the same drinks in here, so we'll not have a lot of drinks. We'll just order some and then we'll go. So instead of us getting the same drink, I ordered 2 drinks and they got 2 drinks the same. So I went up to the bar, and this place was actually quite packed, right? Even though it was only a few doors down for the Slug and Lettuce. So I had went up to the bar, and there was like a full group of girls at the bar here, and then there was like a group of guys at the bar there. So the girls had been waiting for ages. I had noticed they'd been standing for ages since we went in. So I decided to go and get served behind the men, because, not in a sexist way, but I presumed that a group of guys is mostly going to order beers and the girls are mostly going to order cocktails. And I was right. So I went up and the guys all got beers and then I got served. And one of the girls who'd been standing for ages had come up and she was like, I've been waiting for longer than you. And I says, well, you were at the other side of the bar, so I was here. And she's like, but I've been waiting longer. And I was like, well, tough. I was standing at this side of the bar, right? So that was that. We didn't get into a fight or anything. She just like kind of stood and waited. So as I was getting served these 4 drinks, I was watching the other bartenders, and there was quite a lot of bartenders in this one because obviously that's like the busier place, right? And the bartender next to the guy that was serving me was pouring a drink, and it was like a green thing like that, and then it had like a smaller thing in the middle. And he was pouring the drinks, and he was like rapidly pouring them, right? And I was like, oh my god, like he is not even getting half of that measure in there. So say he was pouring like a 25 ml measure and doing that, I swear to god, like not even 10 mils was going in. And he was doing this, and then he was pouring all these other drinks, and he was like flinging it in, right? And it was just going everywhere. And I thought, thank God he's not serving me, because I'd have said, like, stop, right? Put that down the sink and start again and get that full measure in there, because I didn't come in here to pay for half a drink. It was actually infuriating me. I don't know if the person just wasn't watching them, or if they weren't bothered, or if they just didn't notice or what, but it was absolutely awful, right? So I had got 2 drinks, and then my friend had got 2 drinks, and my friend got a rainbow one, and I got one that was like a big pink glass. It wasn't nice. It really wasn't nice at all, and I didn't think that their drink was nice either. Now that's not the club's fault. That was our fault for picking cocktails that weren't good. And at least theirs had like a fizzy straw thing on it, like a fizzy belt, which was good because you can't go wrong with a fizzy belt, right? So I was like, check out that guy. I says to my friend, check out that guy up there pouring cocktails. They're literally not even getting half that measuring. Now, I've worked in bars for many years, right? And used to practice pouring them in to make sure that you get in like a full bottle, or how many measures you got out of a bottle of vodka or whatever. See if that guy had to do that test, he would fail. Do you know what I mean? He'd need to get sacked because he's literally he's just pouring drinks everywhere. So my friend was not living this place, and honestly, neither was I. I didn't like the decor, and I know that a lot of people don't really pay attention or whatever, but there was like this wallpaper, it had like a moose or something all over it. I don't know what it was. And then it was like a New York loft, and it was all brickwork and steel, and it was like modern. Like I can't stand the modern look of anything. But the lights had like these steel cubes around them, like the lampshades that weren't shading any light. It was just pointless. And I thought this place is a bit pretentious. It's like I don't really understand what's going on here. I think it's trying to have like some sort of New York loft vibe, which I was hating. So my friend was like, right, I don't like it in here. Let's just go to Revolution because that's our favourite place to go, and we know that we love some of the cocktails there. So we went down to Revolution. This was a Wednesday night, right? To be fair, it was still kind of in the holiday season. We were celebrating New Year, but it was closed. So I normally go to the one in Renfield Street. So I says, it's fine, there's another one in Mitchell Street, we'll go to that. And that was closed as well. I found it so unusual that a hospitality venue would be closed during this time of year. But we were devastated because on Wednesdays it's like half price cocktails, so it's like £5 a cocktail instead of £10. So then we were like, right, oh, what are we going to do? Right? Like, absolutely devastated. I was planning on going there and getting a bit of pizza because I love their pizzas. So let me just see where we went after that. So then we went to a place called Revolution de Cuba. I think that's what it was called, right? It was Revolution de Cuba. And it was obviously like a Cuban place, really well lit. The decor was actually really nice. It was massive. There was loads of tables in it. It kind of reminded me like a Lloyd's or a Witherspoon's, like how many tables they had, plenty of places to sit, and obviously it was empty as well, right? Because it was a Wednesday night. But most of the drinks had rum in them, and I don't like rum. So we had got a few cocktails in there. I think we got 4 cocktails each, and I didn't really like any of mine. And we ended up ordering some strawberry daiquiri slushies. They were so bad, right? They were so bad. Like, do you remember when you used to go to TGI's and they had amazing cocktails and they used to make them all fresh and everything? If you go to TGI's now and you get a strawberry daiquiri, it's obviously one that they're freezing and pouring out, or like they're putting it into one of these slushy machines, and it's just a pure chemical taste. That was what this strawberry daiquiri was. It was so bad. So then after that, I was like, right, Mum, we'll go to the Blue Dog because originally I was planning on going to the Blue Dog first. But my friend had looked at the menu and says, I don't fancy any of the cocktails. So I was so confused because I've been to the Blue Dog a lot, right? I haven't been for a while, but I've been a lot. And they used to have like 150 cocktails. You used to go in and they had all this fresh fruit. They'd make all the cocktails fresh. And they had like hang them up in the blender and all that, and then give you all this fresh fruit on it. Now, I knew that they had stopped doing that with the fruit because it was like a waste of food or it was costing them too much money. But I thought that they still had like a list of 150 cocktails. So when we went in there, it wasn't dead. There was a few people there. They've got a live singer, which I don't really like, to be honest. There was nothing wrong with her singing it. It was just not my sort of music. She was playing the piano and everything. And then the cocktail list was like 15 cocktails and they all sounded disgusted apart from the Blue Dog. So I went up to order. The guy behind the bar, he couldn't have been any nicer. He was like, I'll go over and sit at your table, I'll bring your drinks up to your table. He was really nice, right? Obviously it took a little while to make the drinks because it was a cocktail and you normally wait a while. He brought them up and just not good. And actually I had ordered my friend the wrong drink. So that made it 10 times worse. They were struggling to drink this drink and it was so bad. So I was sitting and I was like, I can't believe how bad the Blue Dog is now, right? I mean, I've always known that the music's not my type of music, but at least they had a lot of cocktails that you could choose from and they had the fruit and all that. Now it's just scaled back and it's just awful. And to be fair, Revolution as well is nowhere near as good as it used to be because you used to go in and you used to get all these different flavoured vodkas, and like they had the Vodfather pizza, which I've spoke about before in other videos. They had the Vodfather pizza, which they got rid of, even though it was the best pizza ever. And you go in now, one of the last times we went in, they were saying, oh, what do you suggest is bring onto the menu? And I says, you need to bring the Godfather back because that we used to come here every Tuesday to get this pizza. So anyway, obviously a lot of, everywhere in Glasgow is scaled down, right? But after the Blue Dog, I says to my friend, we'll go for something to eat. Everywhere was closed, McDonald's, KFC, everywhere, they all closed at like 10 or 11. It's so crazy to think that you can go out in Glasgow. There's no trains, right? The trains finish at 9:30 and you can't get a taxi. Like where I live, you cannot get a taxi. So we had to stay there. And it's sad because I used to go out in Glasgow all the time. You could get trains like till 12:30. You could get a taxi easily. And obviously a lot of businesses are struggling and everything. But it's not helping places in Glasgow when people can't even go out for a drink because they've got no way to get home unless they've got a designated driver or unless they're going to stay in a hotel. So this was a Wednesday night and we were walking around and I filmed the street and there was nobody in the street. Nobody. Just us two. I walked up a little bit like towards Queen Street and there was two people right down the bottom of like Buchanan Street. And I thought I have never seen Glasgow this empty. I used to work in Glasgow and I started sometimes I would like finish at 6 in the morning, sometimes I would finish at 2 in the morning or whatever time because I worked in the casino. And I've also worked in shops in Glasgow and finished at strange times in the morning, and I've never seen it this dead. And it was actually really sad to witness this, right? So as I said, my friend didn't have much experience in going out in Glasgow, so I says, right, we'll go to the Blue Lagoon. Now little did they know that the Blue Lagoon is an absolute scam chip shop, right? They don't know how expensive it was, but I was paying for dinner anyway, so I was like, right, we'll go to the Blue Lagoon because we were starving. So we got a smoked sausage supper with a small tub of curry sauce and a sausage supper with a small tub of curry sauce, two pickles and two bottles of Coke, like small bottles. How much do you think that cost? If you've been to the Blue Lagoon before, you'll know how much it costs, right? But it came to £24. So my friend was like, holy fuck, right? Like £24, we could have got an Indian for that. And I couldn't stop laughing because I says that's part of the Glasgow experience. Normally you come out to Glasgow, you'd get steaming, you would either somewhere was shut to go and get something to eat or you just couldn't be bothered walking to it. So you'd go to the Blue Lagoon and you'd way overpay for your food. And that's part of the lesson and then you just don't go back. But I mean the food is nice, right? But it's just way overpriced and they can do that because they know that people have got nowhere else to go. So we had went and we'd ate our food, which was not too bad. You know, it wasn't worth £24, but we ate it anyway. And my friend was just like, I cannot believe we paid £24 for a chippy. And I was like, that's the Glasgow experience, you know. The next time you come back, you'll know not to do that again. So the next day, I was taking my friend out for dinner, and I wanted to go somewhere really fancy because I never really go anywhere fancy. I'm just basic usually. But I thought, well, we're celebrating New Year and I want to go out somewhere nice, maybe we'll go for steak or like surf and turf or like whatever, right? But they had drank a lot more the night before than I had because when I wasn't like my drinks, they were drinking them because they don't like drinks to go to waste. Meanwhile, I don't care. I am not drinking something that I don't like. But none of us were drunk. We weren't hungover or anything. So I says, right, where do you want to go for dinner? So they decided that they wanted to go back to the NYC Bar and Grill in Hope Street. So we went up, and this time we got a burger each, and we were just drinking soft drinks. And oh my god, I got this like, is it butter chicken? The chicken, and it was like it's in like a breadcrumb thing, and with burger sauce, which is like a Big Mac sauce. And I also asked for bacon on it. I paid for extra bacon, and I got cheese, and I got this burger, and it was absolutely stacked. Right, I had to eat it with a knife and fork because I just couldn't lift it up. We got spicy chips and my friend got like a spicy burger. So the night before when we had got food they brought out our food and they brought out like our sauces and that in like a big tin and it was a jalapeno tin. So my friend was like, I wonder how many people they have to serve to use all the jalapenos to be able to use that tin. And I was like, oh, probably not that many, right? So the next day my friend ordered this spicy burger and they opened it up, right, and it was stacked with jalapenos, absolutely stacked, and it was saucy, and it was just like, I don't like spicy food, right, but this was insane. You get it in a basket like the way I like you see it in America, you get it in a basket with the paper and that, and I think it was like peri peri chips we got, It was just the chips with the salt on them. So my friend ate this burger, right? I was still eating mine because I was trying to make my way through it without it just collapsing everywhere. And my burger was so good. But I had says to my friend who ate their burger in like 3 seconds. I says, "Oh, was that good?" And they says it was one of the best burgers they've ever had. So out of all the places that I went for New Year, all the cocktail bars, everywhere, the only place that I would really recommend is the NYC Bar and Grill. And I would recommend that you go there during the week because they've got that deal on for 2 drinks and 2 dogs or 2 burgers for the price of one. But not only that, they had a deal on and it was 30 pence wings one day during the week. I don't like wings because I don't like eating meat off the bone, but I thought that that was a really good price. I would say that it's really sad to go out to Glasgow on a Wednesday. It doesn't matter if it's at New Year or not, and see that all these businesses are really struggling. It's sad to think that nobody ever really goes out anymore. Even younger people, like students, like I don't think that anywhere does student deals anymore. I don't think that they're allowed to do student deals anymore. I don't think that they're allowed to do £1 a drink, and that's why they do like £5 cocktails instead of £10, or maybe buy 2 drinks the same and pay for one. Now that's good in some ways because if you're out with people who like the same drinks as you, that's fine. But other than that, then you're just getting people to buy 2 of the same drink. Do you know what I mean? I wish they would just do half price cocktails instead of buy two, buy two the same. I really don't think that that deal's fair at all, to be honest. In the NYC Bar and Grill, it's 2 dogs or 2 burgers, but you don't have to get the same one. They've got a big list of all different foods. It's just so sad to see that Glasgow, that everywhere probably, like nobody's going out. It's no wonder that these businesses are struggling and closing down because nobody can either get into Glasgow, they can't get home for Glasgow unless they're going to pay for a hotel. It's just awful. Do you know what I mean? And I know that these places are probably heaving at the weekend, but I wouldn't know because I don't like going out at weekends. But if you're in Glasgow and you really want to try some cocktails and you want to get some amazing food, then I would recommend going to the NYC Bar and Grill on Hope Street. Other than that, I would stay clear of all the rest of them, unless you're in there during the week and you fancy a pizza and you want to go into Revolution. I've never been on the one in Mitchell Street, but the one in Renfrew Street, or Renfrew Street, whatever street it is, I would recommend you go in there during the week because I really love their pizzas. But anyway, that's how I spent my New Year. And I actually filmed other videos. I filmed what I got for Christmas and birthday videos and stuff, but they all recorded without sound. So if this one records without sound, I'm giving up YouTube forever. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Bye!